This is Infosys Newscast, news and analysis from the world of technology. And this is your host, Marvin. The auto industry is shifting gear. Exciting times are just around the corner. But let's first go down memory lane. Let's start with the history.
Late 1800s to 1950.
Germany, France and the US deliver lightweight, affordable cars for easy mobility. Demand for steel and petroleum rise. Ancillary industries and feeder services grow.
1950 to 2000.
Japan exports vehicles, becomes a market leader. Bumper-to-bumper traffic in global cities. The socio-economic impact comes into focus. Safety, emission control, fuel efficiency, and regulations are quoted to restrict usage and purchase. Japan introduces parking space certificate to register cars. Some countries restrict the movement and parking of vehicles in urban areas. Some integrate bicycles in the public transit system.
Post 2000.
Thank you. I'll take it from here. Shifts in technology, demographics, and psychographics driven by the internet created a sharing economy. The aging population and the arrival of apps like Uber made auto sales stagnate or plummet in some regions. Governments and consumers now seek inclusive mobility. The auto industry has come quite far. Enter digital technology. Digital convergence has blurred the lines between industries, disrupted and upended businesses. The shift from film-based photography to digital photography is a case in point. Let's see what our reporter has from the industry.
Industry news.
Hi, Marvin. Collaboration and advanced technologies are now redefining the auto value chain. Fashion designer Zachary E. Posen and Tom Brown designed the exterior and the interior for Nissan's 2014 Infiniti Q50. Robots work alongside humans in Ford and BMW assembly lines. Tesla sells directly to consumers. Car is now a Veblen commodity, a functional necessity, and a shareable asset, all at the same time. With machine-to-machine communication and artificial intelligence, cars are now evolving. All that we saw in Hollywood movies may soon come true. This is Julia for Industry News.
That was a field report, guys. But planned obsolescence and incremental tweaking won't take us to the autonomous car. The focus should be on critical aspects that define automobile demand, on safety and more intuitive experiences. We heard the reports from the industry. Now let's hear it from the market.
Market news.
Thank you, Marvin. Cars are becoming an integral component of multimodal on-demand transportation systems. Car2Go, a Daimler Europe car partnership, serves over 1 million users across 60 cities in 8 countries. The Car2Go edition models boast advanced telematics. BMW Drive Now, a pick-up anywhere, drop-off anywhere car-sharing service, included electric cars too. Passengers in San Francisco, select cities of Europe, can locate cars with an app or find one on the road, use a chip in the driving license as the key, and leave the car anywhere. Bills are based on the duration, which includes fuel and parking charges. According to Millennials in Motion, a report by the USPRIG, an independent consumer group, an American's average miles driven has been declining since 2004. Millennials now prefer alternatives to car ownership. Pay-per-use models are welcome due to the high average car idle time, almost 80%, traffic logjam, and environmental concerns. A new Wheel of Fortune is calling. This is Alex reporting for Market News. Thank you. Excuse me, there's a lot of pollution in here.
Thanks, Alex. And don't worry, the industry is working towards zero emission. Going back to mobility as a service, now will developing countries follow suit? We wouldn't know. Policies are already implemented to restrict private vehicles, even as car sales are robust and the income levels allow car ownership. Customizing for these markets starts with understanding micro-consumer segments and their attitudes towards car ownership and mobility. Collaborations can help here. Ford partners with Zipcar to offer rental services in over 250 college campuses. Bill Ford, the executive chairman, said that students today think differently about mobility. He added that it will enable them to experience their fuel-efficient vehicles, reduce cost of living, help relieve congestion on campus, and include Ford in their college experience. It's safe to assume that future has new revenue models. But let's talk about safety. Let's listen to our reports from the R&D sector.
R&D News.
Many have gone semi-autonomous for the sake of safety. Adaptive cruise control, automatic parking, collision warning system. But here's how we can improve safety until we get to autonomous driving. Radars, cameras, scanners and sensors within and outside a car for the good of passengers and pedestrians. Vehicle-to-vehicle and vehicle-to-infrastructure communication systems, real-time data. To minimize accidents, predict traffic and avoid congestion, better response in case of emergency. Technology to optimize driving and reduce GHG emissions. Climate control systems to calibrate the car's ambient conditions with data on air pollution and UV radiation. Tesla's Model X features a medical-grade, high-efficiency particulate arrestant HEPA air purifier. Good work there, Tesla. Bottom line, accelerate investment in electric and hybrid vehicles and the infrastructure ecosystem.
All right, here are some updates from my side. The Uber Advanced Technology Center with Carnegie Mellon University is creating a fully autonomous car. Toyota aims to attain zero emissions by 2050, a Lexus fuel cell vehicle by 2020. By the way, its Mirai runs on hydrogen power source. Tesla is building a supercharger network across North America, Europe, and Asia, including wall chargers at hotels and parking areas for easy access to clean electricity. These guys are making science fiction a reality. Distribution. It's as important as engineering. Japan sustained leadership for decades through innovations in quality and logistics processes. They invested in global distribution networks and production infrastructure to minimize costs and risks. Nissan, Toyota, Honda, and Mazda automated logistics inbound, intra-enterprise, and outbound. Adopted a lean supply chain to address demands in any region and signed trade agreements between countries. High customs duties protect Brazilian car makers, but they can only serve the local market. Mexico's membership in the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, and the Latin American Integration Association, ALADI, and the Free Trade Agreement with European Union, MEFTA, boost its auto industry. Kia Motors, Nissan, BMW, and Mercedes-Benz are setting up plants in Mexico. As proprietary systems are embedded for autonomous driving, original equipment manufacturers, or OEMs, will make intuitive recommendations in their smart cars and during technical failure, which means third-party service providers may be unable to handle critical safety systems, which means OEMs can expect demand for parts and after-sales service. All you sharks out there, OEM companies might be a good place to invest. Now obviously, car sharing leads to faster wear and tear. Hence, to sustain operations, the model needs a flexible supply chain. So what does the future ask from the auto industry? Safety, pollution control, and improved traffic. Thankfully, the car makers are making inroads in all those regions. Okay, time for me to leave now, or I'll get stuck in traffic. See ya!
Thank you for listening to Infosys Newscast. The podcast was based on the article Technology and Connectivity Set to Transform the Auto Industry by Nitesh Bansal, Vice President and Head of Manufacturing Practice, Americas and Europe, Infosys. For other interesting perspectives on new technologies, visit Impital, our leadership blog.
Let's hear about the future of mobility from our expert.
So when we imagine the mobility of the future, think of mega cities with population exceeding tens of millions of people, and all those people having to go from point A to point B, and especially at the rush hours, are trying to get along at the same time. This requires multimodal transport to operate at an excellence which does not allow margin of errors of even a few seconds. This is large intercity trains connecting big city nodes into the hubs, the intracity connectors that will take those people from those hubs into various urban centers and urban stations, electrical buses to distribute them further, and probably the self-driving cars that serve as the last mile solution. To enable this multimodal transport that is effective for transporting so many people in these mega cities effectively, This requires the entire urban infrastructure to become extremely smart and efficient. This is about the train tracks communicating with the signals, communicating with the trains, which in turn communicate with the road infrastructure, with the city infrastructure, the red lights, and people who are using them regularly and understanding the traffic flows, the congestion points, and also getting a sense of how and which direction the traffic flows in during which time of the day, so that those routings can be done accordingly, so that the frequency of the trains, buses that ply those routes can vary accordingly, and you can handle those loads. This is a problem which will get solved by technology, by the interplay of technologies, be it in the engineering side of building the trains and the buses and the cars to become more self-aware, self-driving and self-regulated, but more importantly, in planning and designing the infrastructure of these cities to be smarter and be self-aware.
That was Nitesh Bansal, Vice President and Head of Manufacturing Practice, Americas and Europe, Infosys. Thanks, Nitesh.